Well, Sunday morning. What is it today? 17th, I believe. And as you can see, the Orange Crush and the Victory police motorcycle were tucked away underneath the awning last night. We're getting ready to leave. We're going to go take some nice roads, go through a few states, and end up in North Carolina. So, can't wait to do it with you. Alright, so I figured I'd speed this process up. You've never seen how I turn my naked bike into a bagger. Because I got to carry stuff. So here's the process sped up for you. This is what we do every day. Tons of fun. All part of the game though. Let's hit the road. Now you can see the process. Every day. Twice a day. On and off the bike. Now we can slay some wind. Way to North Carolina. It's been a great day. Hey, shout out to Matt, one of my new subscribers that I just met here. Good to meet you, Matt. Safe riding out there, brother. Absolutely gorgeous day coming out of Huntsville, Alabama. You can see the mountains in the background. There's hardly anybody on this road with us. Get out and ride, folks. This is awesome. Welcome to Tennessee. We're going to hit a couple of states that are really close by, I guess, according to Eric. He's doing the navigation, so we're going to see more. Now let's continue on. North Carolina, here we come. Dale. He's the man with all the knowledge. That's pretty cool. Indian. Look at that Indian. Compared to the new Indian.
to ride that bike.
WLA? Look at that. All right, all you born-free bikers, we're here at the Wheels Through Time Museum in North Carolina. Fortunate enough to meet Bob. So Bob's going to introduce himself to you, and he's going to tell you a little bit about what he does here and what the museum's all about. Thanks for your time, by the way, Bob.
Rip, it's a pleasure. Bob White's the handle. I had the great good luck to meet Dale shortly before he opened Wheels Through Time, and we became fast friends pretty quickly over a love for all things motorcycling and antique, and particularly his mission to present all this stuff that he had collected for 50 years to the public was something that really rung my bell. I was a professional historian, and so coming here to Wheels Through Time was like walking into a living classroom, not just because of what lives here, but everybody that walks through the front door has a story. And the only instruction I ever got from Dale about how to act or what to do on the floor of the museum was, A, welcome people that came in the museum like they were coming across your threshold in your house, say hello in a sincere way, and then point out a couple of things that they may have never seen before, and then shut up and listen. I'm serious. People have brought life stories in here that are absolutely priceless, and the great benefit of that for me as somebody that's working this floor, a lot of those stories are just so memorable that I get to retell them to other people that come in, and then that sets off another whole chain of events, and it'll wind up being a give and take of people telling life stories about their involvement with this whole great business of transportation, moving around on two wheels,
right,
looking into the wind and hearing music while you ride across this country. It's great stuff.
Well, you know, here on Born Free Biker, we call it slaying the wind. We go out to slay the wind.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's a perfect metaphor.
Yeah.
I mean, some people talk about being in nature as opposed to being wrapped up in an automobile and going through nature. Other people come in and talk, and this really rings my bell. I play a little bit of music as well, and I hear music. Everything from symphonies to country music songs come through my mind. And the notion of leaving in the morning and not knowing exactly or precisely where you're going to end up and what kind of adventure you're going to meet.
Right.
And then the heart of it all, and you and I, Rip, talked about this a little bit, the astonishing thing is to stop, take yourself off the sickle and either gas up or stop and have a bite to eat. And invariably somebody will approach you to start talking about what it is, this business, this ride, this notion of independence. And, you know, occasionally you meet somebody who's just got an attitude, but mostly 95% of the time, you meet incredible people who have unbelievable stories to tell. So Dale's comment to me about shutting up and listening after the first, I mean, that works.
Right.
It works for me. And
Absolutely.
it works for the museum as well.
Yeah. So what was Dale's mission here, do you think?
Dale, people ask how the museum happened, and the answer is a one-word response it's not a toss-off. Focus. When he was 15, he built a chopper, trike, and he found what he loved.
Nice.
And he never let go of the dream about building the next machine. And one thing led to another. 50 years passed, and now there are 375 machines on the floor. I don't know, 500,000 pieces of memorabilia and associated ephemera, the stuff of motorcycling. Everything from, we just came back from a meetup in Wasion, and we're just tickled as can be. We found a set of original good condition Rhino bags that Harley only made in 30
I know them. Yeah.
Priceless, never found.
Wow.
And yet there they were. And
yeah.
So they're here and everybody can see.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow.
It's really wonderful. His mission was to put this collection of stuff before the good people that he'd been meeting as being in the motorcycle business and a rider.
Well, he's certainly accomplished that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Bob,
come see us.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Born Free Bikers, come to see Bob. And plus, everybody else in here, they're awesome.
There's a great gang.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Love that smell.
military or 65 or over, and then
Okay.
okay, then it'll be $24 for the two of you. Did you need a receipt? So I'm going to stamp your left hand. This is going to get you in and out until 5 o'clock, left hand. They'll look at your left side. And that way, if you decide you need to leave and come back, or you want to go out and take a break, feel free. Can I get your left hand?
Left hand?
Yep. Thank you. And that'll get you in and out until 5 o'clock. Now, that is our raffle bike this year, that 37 Knucklehead. So
What's
if you
the
need
raffle?
any raffle tickets,
How
for
much
that,
are the tickets?
It's 1 for 10, 3 for 20, 7 for 50, get you a t-shirt and a DVD of your choice.
Awesome.
And then the packages go up from there.
I'll definitely get some on the way
The
out.
bike is first prize, second prize is $10,000, and third prize is $5,000.
Nice knuckle. Nice. Thank you.
All right. You guys enjoy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now these are actually plastered. The second induction Take care. God bless, Ben. Thank you. Enjoy yourself. And of course, what you'll see is on the induction slots, induction
How you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Where are you from?
I'm from Virginia.
Mind if I have you on GoPro?
Go ahead, man.
Good. What's your name?
My name's Jake.
Jake.
Tour guide here
Rip.
at the museum. Nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Rip.
Eric.
Eric, nice to meet you. If you guys see anything you want to know a little bit more about while you're walking around today, you let us know. We'll tell you more than you want to know about anything in here.
Awesome. That's great.
Till then, enjoy yourselves and do your best to take it all in.
So what do you ride?
Depends on what runs at the time. I've got a bunch of vintage Japanese bikes.
Oh, do you really?
Yep, had an old Harley for a long time. It's whatever I can get a good deal on and whatever is not pissing me off the most enough to keep it in the garage.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, good. Good for you, man.
thanks, man.
Nice to meet you.
Enjoy, guys.
Thanks. Take care. There's the Henderson.
Yeah.
Cool.
When was it made? Chicago?
Yep.
The rider's leg is downside of the bike, I'm sure you're aware, but it will push air into the...
So like Indian Springfield
And
Mass?
it
Right.
is still a small amount of suction still going on. Immediately, it goes up on the compression stroke. Why? Because the opposite cylinder, or in this case the rear cylinder, has just come up on the top of the compression stroke, received the spark, creating the explosion, punching the piston down, and of course what you'll see is as these slots appear at the bottom of the exhaust stroke, or the bottom of the power stroke, you will see exhaust gases escaping. And these exhaust gases are coming out as flames, and the next stroke up will be the exhaust stroke
overwhelming,
where
right?
It is.
the exhaust spark will see the smoke. On the induction side, though, it is a full second.
Wow. Thanks for the ticket, by the way, brother. I was going to treat on this.
I figured you'd be cheap so far. That's a bargain. $12 for
Yeah.
entrance. Look at this.
This is a 3-cell battery. Check that out.
6-volt. Check that out.
Oh my God. Oh my word. A 42 Harley with a boxer motor. I didn't even know they existed. That could be my R18 right there.
Oh yeah.
Wow. See all you Harley boys? Looks like BMW knew what they were doing, right? That's cool.
we'll fire it up and tell you a little bit more about it in a second. This one right here, this is the 7th one of those 1,000 made. So go ahead and see if we can get it to make some noise. It's a 1-kick bike.
Wow. That's really cool. Damn. ...1941 Boxer. Cool run.
So during World War II, they made almost 100,000 of a bike called the WLA.
Right.
WLA, like a military version of that gray bike over there. You saw one when you came in the door.
Right.
And the thing about it, that bike went everywhere the American military did. The Navy had some, the Army had some. Any branch of the armed services would have had one. Now, at the beginning of World War II, we were in North Africa, not quite yet in Europe. And so when we went to North Africa, that's where they discovered the problem with these bikes, because the jobs they had them doing were courier duty or escorting columns of troops and tanks. That second one is the problem, because everybody knows the Harley Davidson, the V-twin engine, that back cylinder runs hotter than the front. It's not a problem so long as you keep moving. But at a tank's pace or a troop's pace in the Sahara Desert, it was a big enough problem that the back cylinder was prone to seizing on those things. So the government realized if we're going to run bikes in North Africa, we got to have something specialized. So they requested 1,000 bikes from Harley, 1,000 bikes from Indian. They said it's got to be opposed cylinder, shaft drive, hand clutch, foot shift, rear suspension, and have a big oil bath air filter. Now that was a tall order. Harley and Indian, they never made a bike like that before, and they went at it with two different approaches. Indian's idea was that they would build a 90-degree Moto Guzzi style V-twin because they knew how to make V-twins. And they did that because they also didn't want to do a lot of different parts manufacturing. So they didn't want to retool the whole, like half the factory to make 1,000 motorcycles. But they also didn't mind doing the R&D. Harley, they didn't want to do the R&D, but they didn't mind retooling part of the factory. So they decided, well, how do you get away with no R&D, but actually retooling factory? You rip somebody off. Yeah. So they directly copied the 1938 BMW R71. So the chassis is a copy, the engine is a pretty effective copy, the trans, the shaft, the rear suspension, all of that is copycatted straight from BMW.
Now I have an R18, and that drive shaft's almost identical to it.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
And of course it's patent infringement, but it's patent infringement against the Nazis.
That's right,
so
it's against your enemy.
Here.
That's right.
And then the funny thing is, by the time they got all 1,000 of these done, there was no more war in North Africa. So almost all of them ended up as surplus. Now they sent a few of them to around Fort Knox, where they were teaching the motorcycle, the mounted officers, how to ride. And they taught them how to ride hand clutch foot shift bikes, the German control layout with these machines. But beyond those few hundred they sent over there, about 150, 200 to do that, all of them got surplused out. So at the end of the war, you could go pick this up. You know, the government, they paid $880 per bike. You and I, we could go buy this bike for like $300 after the war. Hand paint it, add a little bit of chrome, some skirted civilian fenders. You look right there, you can see painted right over the green paint.
Absolutely. Wow.
So this is the 7th one made of a Harley XA, stands for Experimental Army. They made 1,011 of them. 1942 only.
Cool information.
Neat little bikes.
So what do you think the worth of this particular bike is?
This one, you know, it's a pretty desirable one because it's as customized by some guy in his garage in the late 40s.
Right.
Probably looking at an 80 grand bike.
Wow. Now what is this lever here for?
That's Kickstarter.
Oh, that's the kickstand. I didn't see. Oh, wow.
Just like Rob, straight from the Beamer.
Right. Man.
Super neat machines.
That is neat.
And then Indian, you know, they only got through about 300 of theirs. That R&D time it took them was a bit too long, and the government canceled part of the contract for them. So they only got through about 300. Harley, not having to do any R&D, they got through all 1,000 before the contract was dried up.
And did they come with sidecars? How'd that work?
They had You could, I think I've seen a few pictures of one or two of these with the sidecar mounted. However, they had a separate Harley Davidson that was doing sidecar duty. It was just a few of them called the ULA or the USA. A sidecar big twin. So basically, not a knucklehead, not a 45, which is what they used in the WLAs. A 80 cubic inch flathead is what they were using, or a 74 cubic inch flathead is what was being used on the sidecar rigs.
And the sidecar that come right out of Harley with the sidecar?
Mm-hmm. Yep. At that time, you had a few brands of sidecar, but Harley was producing their own, and that's what they were using for the military. Indian got a pretty big part of the pie with, they got the French military and the Australian military and some of the United States military, but you don't see many wartime scouts. Those were mostly Australia, France, and a few in the US.
Wow, I didn't know that. Well, thanks for the info. That's
You're welcome,
awesome.
guys.
Yeah.
Holler if you see anything else you want to know more about.
Great.
It's a unique one. People love that thing. And you can win money off your friends with that one.
Right.
No one ever believes that Harley built
Yeah.
boxes.
Well, Eric's the one that saw it when we came in. He was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know they existed."
Now, if they want to play model, 1919
Oh,
to
yeah?
23, I believe they ran these. It's about
Right.
a 700cc forward to backward opposed cylinder. It was supposed to be an entry-level bike, you know, easy to ride. But the problem was it was pretty expensive for an entry-level bike. You know, it's all got its own parts. It's got its own gas tank. It's got its own frame. It's got its own front end. There are no real shared parts between the Harley JD and the Harley Sport, which is what they would have been. That would have been the big bike back then. And it was only about $40 more. Now, that was a lot back then.
Yeah.
Not enough to where it was like, well, I'll go with that one because it's cheaper.
Yep.
So they were kind of a flop, and most Americans liked the V-twin. And if
Right.
you want to talk about the rear cylinder overheating, that one definitely
I bet.
overheats.
I love this cutout tin to accommodate for the head.
Started doing that style of cutout tank in 1925.
Wow. It's so great that these bikes still exist, you know?
Oh yeah, we keep them all running.
Right. Every single one of them?
Everything runs, we keep gassing about 10 at a time.
Uh-huh.
Kind of rotating through which 10 on any given day we're starting up.
Wow.
Yeah, were these, did the government ever order these postal service? They walked away from
Yeah.
the free agent was a pretty good agent. They walked away from it. But, yeah, and the other thing that I just was Indian, the execs and lawyers thought that Victory would just jump over the Victory buyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of dumped so hard.
They left a sour taste
Yeah.
in their mouth. Well, I know they're peeling off a lot of Harley riders these days.
Got a little mock-up of an old school bike garage. Check it out. Look at that sweet panhead. So someone's actual workshop. George Swim. I can't adequately describe for you guys the sweet smell in here. If you're a gearhead or you're a person that likes to turn wrenches and you've been working on stuff all your life, you know what that smell is. Come in here, come experience it yourself, because it's phenomenal. It permeates the whole place.